Hi, my name's Brad King. I'm a nutritional researcher, a best-selling author, and a product formulator. You know, as a nutritional researcher, I've realized for a very long time that the male gender is a gender that really doesn't have a lot of help out there. This is, when we talk about the health industry, it really is an industry that is geared largely to the female population. About 80% of the products are geared to women. The marketing behind a lot of these products is really geared towards women. Obviously, being a man and having issues within my own family, for instance, losing my own father to male-related issues like prostate cancer, was very near and dear to my heart, which is why I wrote 2 books on the subject of male health, the Beer Belly Blues and the Ultimate Male Solution. And I realized there needed to be a product that was created to help men deal with a lot of the issues that they're going through as they get a little older. And when I talk about age, when I talk about someone getting older, I'm not really talking about specifically chronological age or linear age, although that's the term we think about here, especially in North America. What I'm talking about is biological age, because we all age on a cellular level and we all have the ability to impact how well or how inefficiently we age on that level. But most men, for the most part, over the age of 40, chronologically here in North America, are starting to suffer from the downward spiral of biological aging. And that downward spiral has many names. It goes by male menopause, andropause, viropause. I call it the beer belly blues because a couple of the direct things that can be related to it are the size of a man's belly. As a matter of fact, there was some research a few years ago showing that when a man's belly is 40 inches or more, that man typically produces about 30% less testosterone than a man that has a waist size of about 37 inches or less. The problem is not testosterone, although men believe it is because we think we only produce testosterone. But the problem is that as we get a little older and we get a little fatter, we start to convert whatever testosterone we have into estrogen. And estrogen actually becomes a little more of the problem. And a lot of men don't really know how to deal with this. Ultimate Male Energy was created to help deal with the excess estrogens, the conversion of the testosterone into estrogen, and also to work as a natural but a very powerful antioxidant to help the body with a lot of these estrogenic signals that we're getting from not only our very own body, from the environment as well. We call those xenoestrogens. And they accumulate within the body and they create a myriad of disorders as well. So all of the ingredients within Ultimate Male Energy are designed to impact various areas of a man's aging. Brad King's Ultimate Male Energy contains quite a few nutrients, but I think the real hallmark of the formula is a bioflavonoid called chrysin. And chrysin has been shown in research to work as what we call an aromatase inhibiting agent. Aromatase inhibitors, for instance, on the market, the pharmaceutical aromatase inhibitors, one of them is known as Arimidex, for instance, that are given to some men with various prostate issues or various male issues. But the natural aromatase inhibitors, like chrysin is one of the most powerful ones that has ever been tested. And aromatase is the enzyme that lives predominantly in our fat tissue, especially in the belly area. We call that the subcutaneous fat, which is right underneath the skin. The bigger our belly, the more of this subcutaneous fat we start to create, and the more of the subcutaneous fat we create, the more of that enzymatic reaction gets created right along with it, which is that aromatase. Anything that works as an aromatase inhibiting agent will inhibit some of the reaction of taking testosterone and converting it into estrogen, and that's why that's one of the premier ingredients within that formula. We also have a stinging nettle, but the stinging nettle is actually a water-derived form of stinging nettle, and the reason we put a water-derived form of stinging nettle, and this is the root as opposed to the leaf is very well known for inflammation, but the root has actually been shown in some studies to be very effective at helping to free up what we call biologically active testosterone. We have quite a few forms of testosterone in the body. Some men know about a bad form called dihydrotestosterone, and then we have something called total testosterone, and then we have unbound or free or biologically available testosterone. And that's what the stinging nettle seems to impact the most. It seems to be able to allow it to become free again, which is where it's able to exert its biological reaction. We also put some cruciferous extracts in the formula like indole, sulforaphane, broccoli sprout extracts, and those are exceptionally important because they help to detoxify the body and they help to take those really problematic forms of estrogens called xenoestrogens, one in particular which is called a 16-alpha hydroxyestrone, and they tend to allow them to become a more favorable or a healthier variety of estrogen in the body, and all of those are very important to a man's aging cycle. Well, you know, I'm a big believer in preventative medicine or preventative nutrition, and you know, it's hard to talk to a 20-year-old man about a loss of libido or the inability to get an erection later on in life when they're not experiencing that at such a young age. But the main reason they're not experiencing it for the most part is because they already have very high levels of very healthy types of testosterone, a lot of the free biologically active testosterone within the body. That won't last forever, and there's a lot of research that now shows the majority of men over the age of 40 are going to notice a considerable drop in their testosterone levels and a rise in their estrogen levels. So for me, if I could get through to a lot of men that were younger, I would say start to prevent these reactions from happening before they start to happen. And certainly when men start to notice these reactions, you want to do everything within your ability to either prevent any further downward spiral or to reverse some of the negative aspects that have already taken place. So I think really any man from their 20s on should look at a formula, and especially the ingredients that are in Ultimate Male Energy. You know, we receive so many testimonials regarding men's use with Ultimate Male Energy, and you know, some of them are almost expected because they would be common types of noticeable reactions. For instance, we hear that a lot of men notice just more energy, they feel a little better, and then we hear about men where they don't really have as big a belly as they once had. I think the main thing that I've noticed, and really what gets me very excited, is I had a gentleman stop me at a gym where I train at, and he was an elderly fellow. I shouldn't say really elderly, he was in his 70s, a little older than me, but he stopped me and he said, "Are you Brad King?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he said, "Do you mind if I talk to you for a second?" I said, "No, go ahead." He said, "Well, I went into a health food store and I started to develop man boobs. It was very embarrassing. I'm even embarrassed talking to you about it." And I said, "No, that's interesting. I've written, you know, books about this before." And he said, "Well, I went in, I didn't know what to do, and this one person thankfully took me to your product, Ultimate Male Energy." And he said, "Within a couple of months, my man boobs actually disappeared." What he didn't realize is that's a condition called GYNECOMASTIA, which is the overproduction of estrogen that causes fatty deposits right around the pectoral area or the breast tissue. And sometimes men need to get that surgically removed if it becomes a problem. But it is definitely a sign of overproduction of estrogen, and in his case, the Ultimate Male Energy ingredients may have helped him to lower those harmful estrogens, whereas the body just starts to correct itself and balance out the testosterone again, and that may have been what contributed to his loss of his male boob syndrome. So we hear all sorts of things. Once again, I think at the end of the day, just making someone feel better is worth taking a nutritional formula for.